Assimilation. My country people them. Can't talk about assimilation because now one of the words then this way, some Anglophones, they don't try for make the word it look dirty. Just like how they would call we black legs for try for dirty the word. But we don't come today, can't make them now people they be proud for go talk say yes I be black leg. Now because of effective communication. And that the reason this will come today, make we talk about assimilation. Whenever some person want to talk about assimilation in a negative way, ask you the first question as what is wrong with assimilation? What be bad with assimilation? Now the first question that ask you make you explain now. You go see and say the more people they talk about assimilation, the more you understand say they no understand what be assimilation. Assimilation a good thing. In the context of Cameroon, yes, we need for be assimilated. The first thing you get for doing and say what you get to research what is the meaning of the word assimilation. If you go look at whether you Google or you go look for dictionary, it will explain for you what to be assimilation. Assimilation comes from the word similar. And then when you talk about sociology, the way society they function, in this context where we talk about assimilation in Anglophone and Francophone context, we talk about sociology, how the two, for example, sections of cultural diversity where they come together and harmonize the way they live and work together. So you go hear the common thing where Anglophones they will talk about. Now say, oh, they try to assimilate our culture. That's what they say. One of the reasons why people say that is because they be ignorant of what they are saying. They don't just hear some person talk and maybe for radio, TV or somewhere else. They can't repeat them. I remember vividly we do a live broadcast, me, Beltus, and Clovis, and Beltus bring this topic about assimilation. I ask him one question, he no be fit answer. Because it be just a parrot and repeating where he don't hear different person repeat them, but he never ever do any research about assimilation. Where to be assimilation? Assimilation, like I talk, it comes from the word similar, where it means say, if you get a diversity in culture, in ideas or whatever, you bring the two cultures together and form one way it will be conducive for the two differences so that it will harmonize the way that community it function. So that they go fit talk to each other. For example, if na language differences them, you will bring you about a language where it will make them possible for the two communities for fit talk to each other. What is culture? They say they want to assimilate our culture. Culture now basically a set of rules. They may be written, they may not be written. It's just a set of rules or ways where a population, a specific population in a specific place at a specific period in time, how they choose to live their life. For example, how the people they decide for dress, how the people they decide for celebrate weddings, how they decide for marriage, how they decide for worship. That is culture. And culture changes. Now, why that I talk saying now a specific group of people in a specific location at a specific period in time. Because the culture, the way a specific group of people decide to live their life for 1930 is not the same. How that same people them in that same locality, they go live their life 100 years later. So culture changes. And a lot of things the way they affect culture. Now, for example, education, civilization, new ideas, and assimilation. Other cultures come in and they impact the cultural makeup. I could give you several examples. Africa, the whole of Africa. Look at you be Anglophone today. You call yourself Anglophone. You call yourself, and I don't hear Anglophones that talk about how I went to court and the judge was speaking a foreign language to me. It called French a foreign language because it believes the English na ye language. Anglophone, I mean African man inside Africa, born and bred inside Africa. It never ever leave Africa. It talks English now, my language. They were not speaking to me in my language. English is not your language, for heaven's sake. The reason you speak English today is because you were assimilated by the British. You could see for Africa now, Christianity, they carry Bible for head, carry God for head, carry church for head. All Africans now they work talk about Christianity, sowing seeds, God this, miracles, that speaking in tongues and all of those things. Christianity is not African. Christianity is as a result of European influence in Africa. Assimilation. They force their culture on you. When the Europeans they come for Africa, they don't just come for can thief and rape. They will bring gun for one hand and Bible for the other hand. That is how the majority of Africans became Christians today. That is a historical fact. I know they argue with you. I know they contest with you. I did educate you. Say Christianity is not African. So you don't assimilate yourself. Europeans, they don't can force a different alien culture into Africa. We not embrace them. The British, they can't force their so-called Anglo-Saxon education system. We not embrace them. And that one, for we not mind, we not know, we not say we not be assimilated. We not know say na assimilation that for we not good assimilation. And then now in the context, say we there with one country. No francophone person, never ever. Like how I be asked Beltus, you said the one for assimilate you, for take away your culture, good. Explain for me how francophone man don't ever can stop you from marrying your woman. You be Bangwa man, you see your beautiful Bangwa girl, you want to marry you. You marry according to the customs and traditions of the Bangwa land. That is your culture. Explain for me how some francophone man don't ever can stop you from doing that. How did they take away your culture? We get our own culture. So now we don't totally throw away our culture for embrace a totally alien, totally foreign culture. The Europeans, they not there for Africa anymore for assimilate we. Now we, the Africans, they beg for follow European culture these days. And then in the same context, you could see African person, Anglophone man, they talk about how Francophone want for assimilate me, they want for take away my culture. How? Because culture now a particular people in a specific place at a particular period in time where they do what, where they do them. If subsequently modern medicine it can't inform we say this so that thing where we they do them, it they bring more risk and harm to the community, then we change the nonsense. You know we'll continue say now because they now so we do and we for yeah. No, for example, what grandpa they use razor blade for cut we for do traditional rites, for giving blessings, long life, for protect we from witchcraft and all of those things then. But we understand, say when you cut person with blade, not only ye one supposed to use that blade. And what grandpa them for village, they use one blade, they cut all man, the whole village with that one blade. It means that if one person if he get some disease, for example HIV, it will spread them for the whole village because it will cut you, use that same blade, it will go sanitize them, cut the next person, all when now it will spread the disease. Modern medicine that can tell we say that is wrong. Not just that is wrong, that is risky. So now we don't continue for to do that thing because now so we do and we for yeah. Now so we do it for 1930, so we'll continue for the do. Now why that way culture changes from generation to generation. A people they will decide say this is acceptable and this is not acceptable. You will see even in the American context. If you go back from 1910, 1920s, when I will hear about the women's suffrage because they will exclude the women from the workforce. Women not be get rights for vote. Women not be get this and that. When the First World War and the Second World War come, they realize that they need the potential where the women they get them for bring them into the workforce. Whether their manpower, their education, their intellectual abilities, them for inventions, manufacturing, and every other thing else. So they start to realize that the culture has to change. They start now to slowly but surely incorporate, and that's another word for assimilation, incorporation. When you incorporate, you bring together a group of different cultures, different sexes or genders, and all of those things. That is assimilation. Now they started bring the women into the workforce, and then they started change the laws then for make them possible say it go assimilate the workforce. Because back in the days then, if you go for any office, or even America and the United Kingdom, the whole office could be now 100% man picking them. They believe say woman enrolled now for she not for house begin cook, clean, born picking them. That was the culture, European and American culture, about 100 or 120 years ago. But the culture don't change. Now the same people then in the same country, but what we don't change between then and now. Now time, 100 years later, the same people in the same country, they change how they operate. Back then, they nobody believes that say black man will be a 100% human being. They say will be inferior and all of those things. Then it was cultural. It was accepted as the normal way of doing things. Say white man not supposed to mate with black man because it would dilute the genetic pool and all of those nonsense. They even get these stupid beliefs. Why I say stupid? Because it is stupid. because it not come from a scientific educational background. It just comes from feelings, assertions, gut feelings as they talk am. It not come from any place of sense. No person no shouldn't think about them before they implement that policy. They did not do any scientific research for implement that policy. They just implement them out of their own bigotry, out of their own hatred and ignorance. When you take a decisions out of from a place of ignorance, it is stupid. Stupid decisions then. So over the years and now, they started to understand that actually black people are just people, just like white people. There is no reason. And then again, First World War, Second World War, they will need recruits them for army, for engineering, for manufacturing, and all of those things then. And they get a vast population of African Americans that could take those jobs, that could do those things then. So why not employ them into doing those things then? Slowly and surely, their prejudices, they fall apart. The reasons why they will put them forth for segregate the country, for put black people in second class and put white people in first class, those reasons fall apart. Because sooner or later, because if you tell your Pekin say this, so, oh, all black people, they did this and that. Sooner or later, that Pekin go for school, he interact with black Pekin them. If you say this, so wait, probably they talking about bullshit. It's nonsense. Because that Pekin are just human being like me. They feel pain, they bleed, they get angry. You know, he gets sense. Maybe he gets sense past me. You know, for class, maybe at the chief homework now for tip and from ye. So how then you could then convince that Pekin say this, so black people they dull. Now only white people they get sense. I be white Pekin. But for my class, the most intelligent Pekin are black Pekin. So those prejudices them, and that's what we call assimilation. The cultures them now they clash. You could see how now say this, so white people they start to do their hairstyle the way black people they do their hairstyle. But then again, I don't want to talk about the international context. Make I bring them back home to the Cameroonian context. So coming back home for Cameroon, Anglophone versus Francophone divide. The biggest divide now this language barrier, this so-called Anglo-Saxon subsystem of education, when a foreign system, no be African, no be Cameroonian system, now European system. Whether I come from France or I come from England, now European system is not African. Understand that one for a fact. Right. Wait to where if you talk now and say, because of the fact say this, so they get two different systems then. The assimilation get to be gradual, which is true. It's supposed to be gradual. For the way after one generation to the next generation to the next generation, each generation that comes after the other one, then it will become more and more sensitive. If you talk to any person where there for Cameroon, where it be above the age of 50, where it studied inside Cameroon, it will tell you, say the challenges don't get them today are nothing compared to the challenges where them get them. Because at that time, yes, Francophones, they believe say they be superior because they fit talk French, because the majority of the country now Francophone. Why we will get a smaller, will be a minority, which is true. Not also to mention the fact that the British want come out for Cameroon, they don't leave no education. I mean, no development, no education, no universities, no roads, nothing. They just come out go them. Now, when they get the Federal Republic of Cameroon for 1961, they might just take primary school teacher inside the Francophone zone and primary school teacher inside the Anglophone zone. The primary school teacher, where they do exactly the same job for Francophone zone, it will be paid higher than the one inside Anglophone zone. Because we know we get money, that is the truth and the reality. And it goes back for explain for now why for 1966, the political parties then for West Cameroon, they be agree for dissolve their political parties then, for form a unitary state, for form one political party for the whole country. Because of those kind of dynamics, then by 1972, Anglophone politicians and Anglophone everyday commoner on the ground it be accept for referendum 20th May 1972 for unite the country as the United Republic of Cameroon. That is a fact. Because of this disparity, that is part of the assimilation for make sure say we harmonize the two systems, and so that primary school teacher for one part of the country and not will get higher advantage or higher wages and better advantage than one in the different part of the same country. That is the whole idea of assimilation. It's not just about my culture, as if some man ever can take your Bamenakwe culture or your Bangwa culture or your Bafut culture. No man no care about taking away those cultures. No Francophone no care. Because if you still decide for marry a woman according to your culture, no man no care. You still decide for put your chiefs. As a matter of fact, Cameroon government it enforce and empower the chieftaincies them, the Cameroonian traditional rulers them, and all of those things. And some of them even they on salary. Actually, all of them, whether not first class to third class, they pay them some stipend for make sure say they be empowered in their communities. That is the African culture. It not our chieftains they not get anything to do with the European culture where they import them into the Cameroon setting. Now going back to the Cameroon setting as I be talk about, you go get Cameroonians them where the day out there they talk about say they want for assimilate them without understanding say assimilation be good for we now. You go also get for that same live broadcast when me have get with Belchus. It give your own example for talk about how did they assimilate you. It talk say francophone picking they come for can study inside the anglophone zone. Yes, that is assimilation. It is actually francophones the way they want for be assimilated into the anglophone system if you don't understand. So now in the early days, as I explained, francophones they be believe say they so for talk French now all and all because there was advantage in talking French. The majority of the country it will be francophone, yes, and they will pay higher wages than for francophone teachers than anglophone teachers. So there was too much advantage for being francophone in Cameroon in the 70s, maybe even in the 80s. That is a fact, and because of that, it will give a warped sense of a mentality for the francophone people. Them say French it be superior, but over the years, them the dawn of falling bush, where people they started to travel abroad or whatever. Okay, today for 2023 for October, ask yourself, say, any young Cameroonian, any youth between the age of say 15 to 35, where they want to travel out of Cameroon, where to be their top 3 destination where they want to travel to? It's a simple question. You go here, they will tell you say number 1, that the United States of America. Number 2, they will say that the United Kingdom. Number 3, they will say Canada. Even francophone picking them, they could tell you now the top 3 destinations where they want to travel to. All of these countries want them for now anglophone countries where they talk now English for they as official language. Canada get Quebec, yes, now a tiny province where they talk French for they tiny, where you not even make up to 1/4 of the size of Canada. Okay, how many Cameroonians then, whether anglophone or francophone, they want for travel to France? Very few. Now, how many countries in the world they be francophone? Now only France and the francophone countries them. For Belgium, a population of the population they talk French, but not all. For Switzerland, a very tiny minority that they talk French. Now all that, all the other francophone countries them. So if the only advantage where you get them with French, now say you go travel to Senegal. Who want go Senegal? Ivory Coast. For go find who? Or you get Gabon, not even yes, Gabon, Chad. Who want go Chad? Central African Republic. For go find who? Or you go for Democratic Republic of Congo. Jesus. For go find who? Now the francophone countries and that. Now, if you travel even within Africa, just say Africa alone, where's it be the top 3 destinations the way an African person go to from Cameroon? You want to travel to the other African countries then. Number 1, now the country where they next door to us, Nigeria, most populated black African country in the world, and our next door neighbor. You want to travel to Nigeria, official language English. Number 2 destination where any person want to come up from Cameroon travel to within the African continent, South Africa, official language English. And then maybe the other countries the way you want to travel to, you will get maybe Egypt where they talk now English. Okay, you want to travel to the Middle East, you want to go Dubai, you will need for talk English. You go talk French for Dubai, all man will look at you like say you don't craze. Yes, the official language is Arabic. I don't go Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Oman, Qatar, Bahrain, all of those countries I don't travel to. You talk English for them now official language. All of these countries for the Middle East where name them. Even Saudi Arabia, you fit transact for them in English. But go talk French for them. No man no go first even understand what way you did talk. So over the years, them francophones they don't understand the importance of English. And now why that way? About 10, 15 years ago, francophones they start to try for send their picking them into the anglophone zone for go get education because they be envy that educational standards where we get them where we not call them say Anglo-Saxon educational system. Yes, they be envy them. They be say and say they so they go prepare their picking them. They be want for deliberately assimilate their picking them into the anglophone culture. May they absorb the anglophone culture into them because it go make that picking them better, not worse. For you for being multicultural, now an addition, no be a subtraction. It go add value to your life. It go add value to your prospects for succeed in society, be it in the African context or on the international context. Me, I talk as person where it come up from Cameroon from the Anglophone zone, it flies straight to England, and I succeed in the England. If I've been a francophone, I for struggle. So I've been so thankful, say I've been in an anglophone. And then again, I migrate to country where now England, where they literally English now their country talk. You understand? So these francophones, they understand, say they so the English be important. Now, why that way today, if you see every single young Cameroonian between the age of maybe 25 to 15, all of them, they be bilingual. All. They go must know how to talk small English. One of the reasons, now technology, cultural change. Now, back in the days, if picking them, time when me able to grow up in the 90s, in the early 90s, if we as yes picking the play, we go mostly then outside with the play now football, or we go for bush, go hunt grumby, go catch cricket, go find a plum, mangoes, and all of those kind of things, and that's what picking the play. A decade or two later, picking the play now by going to arcade. They play computer game. When I remember Street Fighter and all of those kind of things, then we play Tetris. We started to get Game Boy them, where you hold electronic for your hand, you play with your friends and all of those kind of things then. Today, picking the play now virtual. For the way you should not for your house, connect to the internet, play with picking with there for Afghanistan, or picking with there for India, or there for United States of America or Canada. When they play games, whether now football, football manager, or all of those kind of things, then, and then they interact. And the biggest countries then where they produce these softwares then, where they create this content with on social media. Whether you talk about Facebook, you talk about Instagram, FaceTiming, Android, and all of those things then, now Anglophone countries that lead this technology. Mainly the United States of America, English. The United Kingdom, English. Canada, English. Australia, English. New Zealand, English. Nigeria, English. India, English. Pakistan, English. So you see, I say this, so there is actually now a disadvantage for person when are only French speaking. So now the francophones, they understand that and they try for catch up with we because we get an advantage. But instead of we embracing that and seeing an opportunity in this for build more schools, for attract more francophones and for come into our country, we will get people to come up from Gabon. They can't study for University of Bamenda. Yes, for Bamenda. For learn that English and enjoy that so-called Anglo-Saxon educational system. Instead of we for tap into that as an opportunity, what we will do as Anglophones them? Jealousy enter inside. We started complaining, say, oh, they can't take where school places them. Now, because the Francophones that come into our Anglophone zone for can't get education, we not see them as opportunity. Stupidity, it enter inside. And wickedness, say no, me francophones they don't learn for our school. They can't take our place. It is not your place, it's just competition. It be normal. Say it is so if now only 10 people they apply for some school, the school way it look for my talk says school way, the classroom if it take 10 people them. And if now only 10 people they apply, the chances say they go take all that 10 people them, it be about 100%. So now if you go admit your picking, for go seek admission for St. Bede's or for Our Lady of Lourdes or for any of those prestigious Anglophone institutions then, the probability say you will get admission for that school, it will be high because at that time there was smaller competition. But now you get francophones them. You get people that come out from Gabon, from Equatorial Guinea, from all over the world. The one who can study inside Bamenda, inside Tico, inside Boya. The one who can study for benefit from this high level of education standards where we get them. It just means competition it be higher. So yes, times the good day where you're picking and not go get you not go get to go for your first choice for school. Maybe you want to send your picking for St. Bede's or you want to send it for Our Lady of Lourdes or Wusai, but you need to get admission because plenty other people the day way they don't can apply. Now that college will be get like 10 or maybe spaces then for 10 picking for that class. Now it suddenly see and say this, so now 20 picking they apply for that same class. So you will see and say this, so because competition don't go up, the probability say you are picking to get admission for that school now, it don't go from 100% to about 50%. So because of that dichotomy, because of that dynamic, Anglophones are now start vexed. And in the stupid fashion, I talk stupid because it not be based on reasoning. Because when I know she don't down reason how to come out of a problem, when I just act out of impulse and stupidity. So nobody say I did crush some man. When I say it was stupid, now a fact. Say it was a stupid reaction. So now the Anglophones they agitate. They assimilate we. Actually, now the Francophones, they be want to be assimilated into the Anglophone system of education. Now, going back to what really happened today, now say, okay, now we don't lash out. Say, we don't want Francophonization. We don't want Francophone teachers. We don't want Francophone students. We don't want anything for do with Francophones. Good. So what have you done? When I should run down, calculate and think about the actions, then before I take them, no. In actual and perpetual stupidity, when I carry check out from Kradai guns, when I give them to the most poorly educated illiterates, them, they fall for bush. Congratulations. What did they do now? They started chase away the same Anglophone population, public executions. They burn down those educational institutions, them. They kill students and teachers, them. They dig up roads and hospitals, and they penalize the same Anglophone population. So it not even affect the person where we not declare them, say now we enemy. It affect now the ordinary everyday Anglophone population where we not declare them, say we not want to liberate them. How stupid is that? I mean, for say it be stupid is an understatement. Because everything where the Ambazonia terrorists they don't can do them, it be counterproductive to their own declared goals. And it actually further the assimilation where they be talking they want to fight against. Okay, now the vast majority of the population in the Anglophone zone, they don't be displaced. Okay? More than 90, I'm talking about 97% of all the people the way they be displaced out of the Anglophone zone, they be displaced into the Francophone zone. Now, only a very tiny minority, they go inside Nigeria. Okay. Now, ma tell you now what will happen. During the Makiza time, the Bamileke people then, they be run out of the instability and the violence where they happen in the West region. They run. Whose side they be go? They go to the nearest place where be closest to them, where they will feel run into. They enter inside the Anglophone zone, southwest and northwest. Now the Bamileke, their situation that Makiza time. Today, all we will know the effect because there is a vast chunk of Bamileke people then inside the Anglophone zone where they no ever return back into the Francophone zone. Even decades after the Makiza problem don't be resolved, there is peace and tranquility in the West region, but these people, the way they will be displaced, they no ever return back. Why? Because they don't already put down roots in the Anglophone zone. They don't marry within that culture. They don't assimilate within that culture. They don't buy properties, land. They build houses them, born picking them. Where they are picking, they are picking, they no fit even talk French. They are picking, they no fit even talk their country talk from Bangante. They picking them now, they talk na Bakundu, whether na Banga or na Bole, all the 7 Bakundu them. They are picking, they talk na that country talk. For Mezam, they are beginning to talk na Menemo, Moramo, and all over the place. They begin not first even fit talk French. So these begin they don't be permanently assimilated into the Anglophone culture. This begin now they know say they get Francophone roots, but yes, they know say they be Bamileke picking them, but they know fit talk French, and they don't even understand the Bamileke culture. Already they know na Mezam culture, Bafoot culture, Banga Bakundu culture. So now, what did that way it be happen? The vast majority of the people, the way they be displaced, they no ever return back. Now, the Ambazonia terrorists, they don't can drive a vast chunk, more than 1 million Anglophones. First of all, understand, say, the population of the Northwest and the Southwest, it no reach 5 million. It's about 4 point something million. So imagine, say, over 1 million people, they be displaced. So you're looking about 1/4 of the population in the Anglophone zone. They be displaced out of their villages them. And the vast majority of those people there, more than 1 million, they enter a Francophone zone. So what are they doing in the Francophone zone? Might tell you what way they do. They work farm. They sleep man picking them, woman picking them, they born picking them. They married, intermarried, intercultural marriage. Francophone, Anglophone. Yes, Bamileke, Bamenda, Ewondo, Bulu Beti, Bassa, to a Nordist, they intermarry. That is a fact. They build roots in those communities and for Francophone zone. Even if this nonsense can't end today, the vast majority of these people, they don't go ever return back into the Anglophone zone. As the Anglophones, they enter inside Francophone zone, they know they just marry and all of those things, and they need to just absorb the Francophone culture and the Francophone way of doing things. But their neighbors, them too, they also absorb a certain level of Anglophone way of doing things from them. That is assimilation. Assimilation goes both ways. So the Francophones that be assimilated into Anglophone culture, and the Anglophone they be assimilated into the Francophone culture. Most of the Pekin now they talk French and English. There will be a time in Cameroon where you will get some people the way they identify as Francophone, where they know if they talk fluent French. You will get a population of people the way they identify as Anglophone, where they know if they talk fluent English. That is a fact. We already get them today, sir. Walk out the streets of Yaoundé for Obili, for Bastos, Damas, everywhere inside Yaoundé, you will hear small picking them the age of 7, 8, 9, 10. They talk now real pidgin wey come on from Batibo and know exactly which quarter for Ashong where that pidgin come out. And they tell you, and then they ask you, pidgin, picking the way they be born maybe 1 or 2 years before this crisis. Picking there for Yaoundé, where their friends there, they work together, they talk perfect pidgin. And that is how the assimilation is going. So you will see, say, in 10 or 20 years' time, that line where it be divide Francophone from Anglophone, that line will be blurred out and it will eventually disappear. That is good for one and indivisible Cameroon, for the unity and prosperity of one nation, indivisible. That is good. And the one phenomenon where it don't come for hasten and facilitate the assimilation of the Anglophones into the general all over Cameroonian culture, na Ambazonia terrorism, it don't can cause them. It don't accelerate them. It did like a catalyst for when I study sciences. Now the catalyst that way don't come for can accelerate the chemical reaction of Anglophone and Francophones them being assimilated together and having one culture where it be uniquely Cameroonian. Yes. So when you talk about assimilation, we also take other examples then. For example, you look at Australia. I don't really talk about America and all of those things then, but might talk about Australia and then I will talk about the indigenous population for America as well. If you like, Google them, the assimilation of indigenous Americans or the Native Americans, and it will explain them for you. If you look at Australia, when the Europeans, mainly from the United Kingdom, they will go to Australia, they go take over the lands for Australia and all of those things then. They will get mixed racial relationships and all of those things. And they be saying, I'm saying this, so the native population, the aboriginal population inside Australia, it will go extinct. And one of the ways that for make them say me the population, they get the same rights for fit, enjoy the same quality of life in Australia as the white population. What way they be doing activity? They be forcefully move or remove aboriginal picking them out of their parents, their hands. It means, say, imagine, say, you get your Pekin, you dare you for your house. The British, where they immigrate into Australia, they can't take una land. They just come one day, because the federal government don't decide, they can't seize your Pekin out of your hands. Take the Pekin, go put her inside a dormitory or a church or somewhere like that, for turn the Pekin into a Christian, and then for force the Pekin for learn English. And the honest truth now say, at that time, this policy by the Australian federal government, it will be in the interest of the Aboriginal population. They will do now good. The intention, it will be now say they want to do good for the population, because if the Aboriginal population, the natives of that land, they don't know English, they don't fit benefit from the general population. They don't fit process documents meant for make ID card, they don't fit seek employment, they don't fit attend education and all of those things then. So now why that way from a very young age, they be decide to do so, they go force that picking them, remove them from their papa and their mommy their hands, bring them into centers them where they create them, for force that picking them for learn English, for assimilate them into the general European culture, for transform them. No mean I say for force them, they forget about the Aboriginal culture, but for make sure say me they understand and fit partake in the European culture where it be grow inside Australia. That's the point of assimilation. Assimilation is not about making you forget your culture, but making you adapt to a different culture so that you go fit tap into the benefits of living within that culture. All Cameroonians, then, whether you like it or not, you go must, enter the Francophone system. Whether you like it or not, you want to make ID card, you want to process some documents, the ministries, the dinner for Yaoundé and whatnot. It's in our own best interest for learn French, for understand how the Francophone system works. Because if we better understand the system, then we will survive and we will cope and then we will excel within that system. So it is in our best interest for assimilate ourselves into the Francophone system. No mean I say na some derogatory word, no mean na some dirty word, no mean na some bad thing. Assimilation is good for person who gets sense. He understand the importance of assimilation. Now, one of the reasons that way the francophone or the Cameroon government, if they start to train teachers, them send them into the anglophone zone, we can't teach French, and some of we will be the run away from French out of stupidity and ignorance. We know we know saying that one of the things in that way it will make we it will prepare we for excel and for progress and prosper within a context in a society way. French it dominate. That is a fact. You know, we talk today, so make we know make French dominate. They dominate naturally because for every one anglophone where you see them, you go see at least 4 or 5 francophones. That is a statistical, mathematical fact. They plenty pass we in number. They get a bigger land size pass we. They make more money than we do. Economically, they be more viable. And a country where they get their independence in 1960, even when we will still be in a territory controlled by the British where the British they talk today, so this territory not be viable for be independent on its own. Una must join Nigeria or join Cameroon. But while they don't assess themselves to be viable, they could be independent because now a big country with institutions them. So that is the reality of the context where we live in, and we get to understand that context. The context now say what will be now a minority, and for we for be assimilated for assimilate into that culture a dana in our advantage. It is not a disadvantage, and this nonsense about taking on a European culture is just pure stupidity. Yes, France or French, now European culture, yes, we understand. And so is English. They are both foreign to us. If you befit adapt and you accept them gladly, say Anglo-Saxon is a subsystem of education. If you befit accept them gladly, why no accept the Francophone one? They are all foreign. At the end of the day, you ask yourself and say, what is my benefit? How is this thing going to benefit me? But assimilation is not about eradicating one system. No, it's about making the two systems come together and find commonalities, similarities. That's why the word assimilation comes from the word similar.